Hi, students and friends. This is your host and teacher, Sayyid AYAZ. You're watching Learn and Teach by Sir Ayaz. I'm continuing my O-level past papers session, and I have IGCSE, that is 0620 today. The variant is 23. It's of October, November 2024. You know, it's paper 2 multiple choice extended version. Total time is 45 minutes. There'll be 40 questions in the question paper, which means the total mark for this paper is 40. You can use calculator in this paper. Your table is printed in the paper. Any rough working should be done on this question paper. So let's start the paper. Here's question number 1. A sample of ethanol is left in an open beaker at room temperature. After 24 hours, no ethanol remains in the beaker. What has happened to the ethanol? Now, ethanol is volatile liquid. Volatile liquids are those liquids in which the liquid molecules leave the surface of the liquid below its boiling point. So definitely it has evaporated after 24 hours. So C must be the right response in this case. The boiling point of ethanol is 78 degrees centigrade. So it does not boil because it's left at room temperature. This is incorrect. B, it has condensed. Condense means converted to gas to liquid. And last one is frozen, which means liquid to solid. So all the choices are incorrect except C. C will be the right answer. This is in a sealed container with a fixed volume. Which statements describe what happens to the molecules in the gas when the temperature is increased? So we look at all these statements. They move more slowly. This is incorrect because at high temperature, the particles gain energy and they will start moving at higher speed. So if one is incorrect, both A and B is incorrect. Either C is correct or T is correct. What about statement number 2? They collide with the walls of the container more frequently. This is the correct statement. Number 3, they collide with the walls of the container with less force. This is incorrect. Number 4, they have greater kinetic energy. This is correct. 2 and 4 is correct. So D must be the right answer in this case. Moving to next MCQ, which is number 3. What happens when sodium atoms combine with chlorine atoms to form sodium chloride? So here's sodium atom. It's in group 1. So group 1, we have metals. And chlorine is in group 7. It's a non-metal. So we have non-metals here. And sodium is a metal. So metals have tendency to lose electron and non-metals have tendency to gain electron. So straight away look at the choice in which they have mentioned that sodium atoms have lost electron. Sodium atoms each lose 1 electron. So B must be the right statement and chlorine atoms each gain 1 electron. For your convenience, I'm reading the other choices. A, sodium atoms each gain electron, which is incorrect. And so chlorine atoms each lose electron. This is incorrect. So A is incorrect. What about C? Sodium atom, chlorine atom share 1 electron with each other. In the last MCQ, they have also mentioned about change. So B must be the right answer in this case. MCQ number 4. The table shows some properties of 4 substances. So we have substance 1, 2, 3, 4. We mentioned melting point, electrical conductivity when solid, electrical conductivity when molten. Which substances are ionic? Now, ionic substances, they must have high melting point. That's for sure. So 1, 2, and 4. This can be ionic compound. 3 can't be the ionic compound. The melting point is low. Now, in 1, electrical conductivity and poor. When in solid state, this is also correct because in the solid state they do not conduct electricity, and in the molten state they do conduct electricity. So 1 is incorrect. What about 2? 2 high, poor, good. This looks correct to me. 2 looks correct to me. What about 4? Melting point high, it's correct. Conductivity when solid, good. This is incorrect. So D must be the right answer in this case. Going to next MCQ, which is 5. Which statement about methane is correct? In methane, positive hydrogen ions are attached to negative carbon ions. We don't have ions here, so this can't be the right answer. We don't have ions here because in methane, carbon and hydrogen they form bond through sharing of electrons, not due to the transfer. B. In methane, electrons are shared between carbon atom and hydrogen atom. This must be the right statement. For the convenience, I'm reading the other statements. Methane has a high boiling point. This is wrong. It must have low boiling point. So this is incorrect. What about D? Methane is a good conductor of electricity. It's a covalent compound. It does not conduct electricity. So this is incorrect. D must be the right answer in this case. MCQ number 6. A sample of iridium has a relative atomic mass of 192.29. The sample contains two isotopes only. 64.50% of the sample is IR193. What is the other isotope in the sample? So let's consider that isotope as X. We need to calculate the percentage of X first. So simply subtract 64.5 from 100. So we get 35.5%. Opportunity calculation. This area. So we have 193. It's of 64.50% plus 35.5x and divided by 100 is equal to 192.29. One 93 multiplied by 64.5, 1,248.5 plus 35.x is equal to 192.29 multiplied by 100 becomes 19,229, or x is equal to 19,229 minus 12,448.5. X is equal to 19,229 minus 12,448.5 divided by 35.5. So what we will get? 9 minus 12,448.5 divided by 35.5. 191. 191. C must be the right answer for MCQ number 6. Moving to next MCQ, which is 7. Ammonium iron 3 citrate contains in its formula more than one ammonium ion. Ammonium ion is this, NH4 positive. It carries +1 charge. One iron ion. In this, iron is carrying +3 charge. So we will write Fe +3. 2 C6H4O7 4 minus ions. What is the formula of ammonium iron 3 citrate? So we have ammonium ion here, NH4 positive. If it's carrying +1 charge, it means if we ignore the charge, it will become 1. We have one Fe ion. It's carrying +3 charge. And we have 2 C6H4O7 ions. So 2 multiplied by 4 minus. So this whole becomes +3 minus 8 it becomes -5. Becomes -5. So ignore the charges, becomes 5 then. Do the cross. We'll definitely have 5 moles of NH4 positive ion here. And they have already mentioned we have only one iron ion and 2 C6H4O7 ion. So it must be B. You see, in B, it's NH4, whole 5, FeC6H4O7, whole 7. So B must be the right answer in this case. So next MCQ, which is 8. Silicon 4 oxide reacts with chlorine and carbon to form liquid silicon 4 chloride SiCl4 and carbon dioxide gas. If the reaction is carried out at RTP, which symbol equation represents this reaction? We should know the state of silicon 4 oxide at RTP, which is solid. So either C is correct or D is correct. Both A and B is incorrect, because in A and B, they have taken liquid as the state for SiO2. So I'm looking at C, SiO2 solid, correct, plus 2Cl2 gas. Chlorine exists in the gas state, this is also correct. Plus C, solid, this is also correct. SiCl4G, this is incorrect, because they said liquid silicon 4 chloride, SiCl4. So automatically D must be the right choice in this case. You have 1 mole of silicon dioxide reacting with 2 moles of chlorine gas and 1 mole of carbon solid to give 1 mole of silicon 4 chloride and 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Next MCQ, which is number 9. The structure of ethene is shown. How many hydrogen atoms and how many carbon atoms are in 1 mole of ethene? So this is a 1 mole of ethene. We need to have moles of hydrogen and carbon first. So in 1 mole of ethene, we have 4 moles of hydrogen atoms and 2 moles of carbon atoms, as you can see from the formula. Now they are asking, we need to calculate the atoms, total number of atoms. In order to get the total number of atoms, so I will multiply 4 by Avogadro number. So I want to calculate number of hydrogen atoms is equal to 4 multiplied by 6.03 multiplied by 10 with the power 23. So 6.03 into 4 gives 24, 24.12, 24.12 into 10 raised to power 23, or it becomes 2.412 into 10 raised to power 24. So either A is correct or B is correct. Both C and D is incorrect. What about number of carbon atoms? We need to multiply. We have 2 moles of carbon atoms. We need to multiply 2 by 6.03 into 10 to the power 23. So we'll get what? We'll get 12. 6.03 into 2 gives 12.06 into 10 to the power 23, or 1.206 into 10 to the power 24. A must be the right answer in this case. All the other choices are incorrect. Next MCQ. A known volume and concentration of aqueous sodium hydroxide is titrated against dilute hydrochloric acid. The volume of dilute hydrochloric acid needed to exactly neutralize the sodium hydroxide is measured. 5 calculation steps are shown. They have shown 5 calculation steps. What is the order of these steps to calculate the concentration of the hydrochloric acid in gram per decimeter cube? So they need the concentration of hydrochloric acid in gram per decimeter cube. So this must be the last step. That's for sure. So either B is correct or C is correct. Both A and D is incorrect. Now we have to start with what? You have to start with the amount of sodium hydroxide in moles, because the volume and concentration of sodium hydroxide is given. So it must be 4. So 4, after 4, what we will do? We need to calculate the amount of hydrochloric acid in moles. And you have 1. And after this, you will have concentration of hydrochloric acid. That's a step number 5. Then relative formula mass. Relative formula mass of hydrochloric acid is needed in order to convert the moles into grams. Fine. So after 5, we have 2. Then after 2, what we will have? We will have the last step, which is 3. So C must be the right answer. If you look at the sequence 4, 1, 5, 2, 3. B is incorrect. 11. Two different substances are electrolyzed using inert electrodes in 2 separate experiments. Hydrogen is produced in both experiments. Which row identifies the 2 substances and the electrode at which hydrogen is produced? Now we know that hydrogen is always produced at cathode. That's for sure. Which means either B is correct or D is correct. A and C is incorrect. Now, what about substance 1 and substance 2? In both the cases, you are getting hydrogen at the cathode. If you are getting hydrogen at the cathode, so you must have aqueous. You can't have molten. So D must be the right answer in this case. Dilute sulfuric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid. Both gives hydrogen, H2 gas at cathode. So D is the right choice. 12. Aqueous copper 2 sulfate can be electrolyzed using either carbon electrodes or copper electrodes. Which statement describes what happens at the positive electrode? You know that at positive electrodes, there will be oxidation, that is loss of electron. Loss of electrons. So which statement describes what happens at the positive electrode for this copper 2 sulfate? So if you are using carbon electrode or copper electrode, that for sure, if you are using carbon electrode, you will get deposition of OH negative ions. OH negative ions gives O2 in case of carbon electrode. What if you are having copper electrodes? You will get copper plus 2 ions. Copper anode dissolves copper electrode. Now I'm reading the statements. A, copper is deposited if the electrode is made from carbon. Positive electrode, this is incorrect. You can't get copper at the anode. You can't get copper at anode if it's electrode made from carbon. Because they are asking what is happening at the positive electrodes, not the negative electrodes. Copper will get deposited, but it will get deposited at the negative electrode, which is cathode. B, copper is deposited if the electrode is made from copper. Copper is deposited, it will deposit, but again it's at the cathode, not positive or anode. I will mention the electrode, anode. So this is also incorrect. C, oxygen gas is produced if the electrode is made from copper. Yes, oxygen is produced. This must be the correct statement. For a convenience, I'm reading the last statement. Oxygen gas is produced if the electrode is made from copper. This is wrong. Because the electrode will get dissolved, produce U plus 2 ions if it's made from copper. So C is the right answer. Next MCQ. Which statement about a hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is not correct? They are saying not correct. So you're definitely having one of these statement as incorrect one. Now I'm reading these statements. Chemical energy converting into electrical energy. Yeah, this statement is correct. So this can't be the right answer. B, hydrogen is oxidized. Does hydrogen get oxidized? Yes, hydrogen get oxidized in it. So this is also incorrect. C, reaction takes place is endothermic. Yes, reaction is exothermic, not endothermic, produces heat. Which means this is the right choice. Last statement, water is the only chemical product. This is correct. So it means this can't be the right answer. Moving to next MCQ, which is 14. Which reaction pathway diagram is correctly labeled? Let's check the first one. A. It's an exothermic reaction because product is at the lower energy state. They have mentioned EA correctly. And delta H, they have also mentioned the delta H correctly with the sign also. So A looks correct to me. For convenience, I'm checking the other. In B, they mentioned the delta H incorrectly. EA is correct. Again, this is example of exothermic reaction, but delta H is not labeled correctly. C is also incorrect. The reason is that this hump is of EA, not delta H. What about D? It's also incorrect because sign of EA must be up, not down. So A must be the right choice. Moving to next MCQ. 15. Which row describes a reaction where the overall energy change is exothermic? Now, exothermic reaction results increase in temperature of the surrounding. So you see temperature of surrounding increases in C and D. So either C is correct or D is correct. Both A and B is incorrect. Energy needed for breaking bonds is 900. Energy released by forming bonds 300. Subtract this from this. So 900 minus 300, we get the answer in plus 600. This is incorrect. D must be the right one. 900 minus 1200, it gives minus 4 minus 300. So this must be the right answer. 16. Which process involves a physical change only? They are saying that it involves only physical change. Okay, heating calcium carbonate strongly. So if you heat calcium carbonate strongly, what will happen? It will produce calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. It's a chemical change. You are getting new substance. A is incorrect. Burning wood. Burning wood, it releases carbon dioxide plus carbon monoxide plus water. So this is also chemical change. It's not physical change. Melting an ice cube. This must be the right statement. Last one, mixing an acid as a base. This is also incorrect because this gives salt and water. So C must be the right answer in this case. 17. In the Haber process, an equilibrium is established. Here's the reaction equation. The forward reaction is exothermic, which means the sign for delta H must be minus in the forward direction. Which change to the reaction conditions will move the position of equilibrium to the left? They are saying you want to move it to the left, meaning to the reactant side. Decreasing the pressure. What will happen if you decrease the pressure? We used to maintain high pressure in order to move the equilibrium to the right hand side, because increasing the pressure will shift the equilibrium to the side where there will be less number of moles of volume of gas. But if you decrease the pressure, what will happen? It will move to the side with higher number of moles. So A looks correct to me because you have decreased the pressure, it will move it to left hand side. So this must be the right statement. So I will look at the other conditions. Decreasing the temperature by 100 degrees centigrade. If you decrease the temperature, it will move to the right hand side, to the exothermic side. Right hand side is exothermic. So this is incorrect. See, adding more nitrogen gas to the mixture. Again, if you move to right hand side, if you move add more nitrogen, equilibrium will shift to the right hand side. Removing the iron catalyst, it has only effect on the rate of reaction. Only rate is affected. So A must be the right answer in this case. 18. The flow chart shows some properties of a metal oxide. Water plus salt, we are getting metal oxide. If it's reacted with hydrochloric acid, you are getting water plus salt. And if it's reacted with sodium hydroxide, again it's producing water plus salt. And on reduction, it will give component of brass. Brass is an alloy. In fact, brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. And looking at this information that is reacting with sodium hydroxide as well as hydrochloric acid, it must be amphoteric. Amphoteric oxide. So we have two amphoteric oxides here. Either A is correct or D is correct, B and C is incorrect. Now they have mentioned component of brass also, in which we see zinc. So zinc oxide must be the right answer here. Aluminum oxide is the incorrect. 19. Which statement about reactants in redox reactions is correct? A. An oxidizing agent donates electrons and a reducing agent accepts electrons. Oxidizing agent oxidizes the other reactant, which means it's reducing itself. So it's not donating electron, it accepts electron. So again, this one is also incorrect. Reducing agent donates because it oxidizes itself. So A is incorrect. B. When one element gains electron, the oxidation number of different element increases. One element gain electron means its oxidation number decreases, not increases. They are saying increases. So they are saying different element. They said different element. So this looks correct to me. One element gaining electron, its oxidation number decreases. The other element, its oxidation number increases. So this looks correct to me. For your convenience, I'm reading the next two statements. When the oxidation number of one element increases, that a different element gains oxygen. Oxidation of one element increase means it has oxidized. You can't have different element gaining electron then, gaining oxygen then. Reason is that it will get reduced, which means it will lose oxygen, not gain oxygen. So this is also incorrect. C is incorrect. D. When the oxidation number of one element increases, a different element loses electron. If oxidation number of one element increase, it means it's undergoing oxidation. The second element must be undergoing reduction. So it means it is gaining electron, not losing electron. So also incorrect. So B must be the right answer in this case. 20. Aluminium is extracted from aluminium oxide by electrolysis. The ionic half equation for the reaction at one of the electrodes is shown. Here's the reaction equation. Al3 plus 3 electrons gives Al. Which row describes the change in oxidation number of the aluminium and the type of reaction at this electrode? If you talk about the change in oxidation number, it must be carrying 0. Aluminium must be carrying 0. So 3 plus 2, 0 means oxidation number decreases. It's not increasing. It's moving to the 0 side means decreases. Either A is correct or B is correct. C and D is incorrect. And type of reaction, its reduction because it has gained electron. So A must be the right answer in this case. B is incorrect. 21. Which statement about dilute hydrochloric acid is correct? It's a strong acid as it fully dissociates. This must be the correct statement. I'm reading the other statements. It's a strong acid, partially dissociate. This is incorrect. It's a weak acid as it fully dissociates. No, it's not a weak acid. It's a weak acid. Again, incorrect. A must be the right answer in this case. 22. Which row describes and gives the formula of hydrated copper 2 sulfate? Hydrated copper 2 sulfate, we know that it's CuSO4.5H2O. So either A is correct or D is correct. B and C is incorrect. Now in A, you see it's aqueous copper 2 sulfate. And in D, they are saying copper 2 sulfate chemically combined with water molecule. This is the right statement. Because copper 2 sulfate is chemically combined, it's not aqueous copper 2 sulfate. So D must be the right answer in this case. 23. The equations for 3 reactions are shown. We have 3 reaction equations. Which reactions are suitable for making a salt by precipitation? Remember, in precipitation, you are getting insoluble salt. So we'll see the reactions. Reaction 1 and 2 gives insoluble salt. So, and reaction 3, it's not giving insoluble salt. So 1 and 2 is correct. So A must be the right answer in this case. All the other choices are incorrect. 24. Acidified potassium dichromate 6K2Cr2O7 is used to oxidize ethanol. The ionic equation for the reaction is shown. Which properties of transition elements are shown by chromium in this reaction? So we are having transition elements here. It's between group 2 and 3. Transition elements. And here's chromium. What are the typical properties of transition elements? Transition elements or the compounds are colored, they have variable oxidation number, they act as catalysts. Now in this reaction, K2Cr2O7, it's using to oxidize the ethanol, and you see the change in oxidation number. In dichromate, you are having +6 as the oxidation number of chromium, and you see it's +3 here, which means there's a change in oxidation number. So either A is correct or C is correct. Both B and D is incorrect. Okay. The second thing, is it acting as a catalyst? No, it's not acting as a catalyst because it's producing or it's converting into different ion air. It's not acting as a catalyst because catalysts get recovered at the end of the reaction. So C must be the right answer in this case. A is incorrect. 25. Which statements describe the periodic table? 1. The elements are arranged in order of their nucleon number. 1 is incorrect. So if 1 is incorrect, both A and B is incorrect. Either C is correct or D is correct. 2. The elements are arranged in order of their proton number. Yes, they are arranged in order of their proton number. 3. It is used to predict the properties of element. This is also correct. C must be the right answer in this case. D is also incorrect. 26. Which row shows the correct order of reactivity of the 4 named metals? I'm checking one by one. In A, we are having magnesium, copper, zinc. No, zinc is more reactive than copper. So A must be incorrect one. What about B? Magnesium, zinc, copper, silver. This looks correct to me. This is the correct order. So this must be the right answer. I'm checking the other one for convenience. Most reactive, you can't have silver. So both of C and D is incorrect. No need to look at the other metals in the series. So B is the final answer in this. 27. 4 iron nails are added to 4 different metal sulfate solutions. In which solution does a displacement reaction occur? So we are placing iron nails. So iron nails will oxidize in the solution in which there will be less reactive metals than iron. Magnesium, sodium, zinc, they are more reactive than iron. So A, we are having copper 2 sulfate. It's less reactive. Copper less reactive than iron. So it will get displaced. Highly reactive metals than iron. That's why you can't have magnesium sulfate, sodium sulfate, or zinc sulfate. 28. A fertilizer contains ammonium nitrate and potassium phosphate. Why is a fertilizer described as an NPK fertilizer? N means nitrogen. It provides nitrogen. P means phosphorus. It provides phosphorus. And K means potassium. It provides potassium. It provides the three main elements needed for improved plant growth. So D must be the right answer. Other choices are incorrect. 29. What are the approximate percentages of oxygen and nitrogen in clean, dry air? So nitrogen is 78%, oxygen is 21%. This is something which you have to learn by heart. So B must be the right answer. No need to look at the other choices. Other choices are incorrect. 30. Which compounds have similar chemical properties? They must be having same functional group. Same functional group. Or family. Belongs to same family. So in A, you see the name ending on all, which means alcohol. Oic acid means it belongs to carboxylic acid. B, ane belongs to alkane. Ene belongs to alkene. A incorrect, B incorrect. What about C? Ane, methane, butane, both belongs to the same family. So C must be the right answer in this case. D, ene, all. Alkene and alcohol. It's incorrect. So C must be the right answer in this case. 31. Four statements about organic compounds P, Q, R, and S are listed. P is a saturated hydrocarbon. The formula of Q is CH3CH3. It's ethane. A molecule of R contains only one oxygen atom. So in our syllabus, the family which contains only one oxygen atom must be alcohol. Compound S is a carboxylic acid. Which statement about these compounds is correct? A. P and Q are members of different homologous series. P and Q. This looks correct to me. Because P is saturated hydrocarbon and the formula of Q is CH3CH3. Now I'm not sure about this one. Let's see the other statements. First, then we'll decide which one is the correct one. P and S are members of the same homologous series. Now, if you look at the details, they do not belong to the same homologous series because P is saturated hydrocarbon, it's hydrocarbon, and S is a carboxylic acid. So this is incorrect. What about C? Q and S. Q and S are members of same. Again, this is incorrect. Q is alkane, while S is carboxylic acid. What about D? Q, R, and S are all members of different homologous series. This is for sure. We are confident about this. So D must be the right answer in this. A can't be the right answer. D must be the right answer in this case. Moving to next MCQ, which is 32. The structure of an organic compound is shown. We have chloroethane. Chloroethane. It's A. It's chloroethane simply. It's not chloroethene. Chloroethene must have C double bond C in it. Chloroethanol must have COH in it. Chloroethanoic acid must have this carboxyl group. All the other choices are incorrect. 33. Which statement about the manufacture of ethene from large alkane molecules is correct? So for 33, a low temperature is required, which is incorrect. Involves either thermal cracking or catalytic cracking. You want to manufacture ethene from large alkane molecules, either thermal or catalytic cracking. So this is incorrect. The process called cracking, this looks correct to me. C, the process requires an extraction. No, it's not combustion reaction. We are cracking the large alkane molecules. D, water is also a product. This is also incorrect. B must be the right answer in this case. Move to next MCQ, which is 34. Which processes are used to make ethanoic acid? 1. Heating ethanol with acidified aqueous potassium manganate 7. This must be the right. If it's right, either A is correct or B is correct. Both C and D is incorrect. 2. Bacterial oxidation of ethanol. This is also correct. You can have bacterial oxidation of ethanol to get ethanoic acid. 3. Distilling ethanol using a fractionating column. No, you will only get ethanol. So A must be the right answer in this case. 35. Which statement about propene C3H6 is correct? A. Propene reacts with bromine in the dark in a substitute. No, it will not undergo substitution reaction. It contains carbon-carbon double bond. This is propene. Propene will undergo addition reaction. So this is incorrect. B. Propene reacts with steam in the presence of alkaline catalyst forming an alcohol. No, it must have acidic catalyst to form an alcohol. This is also incorrect. C. Propene undergoes addition polymerization, forming polyethene, not polyethene. It will produce polypropene. Also incorrect. B must be the right answer. Propene undergoes an addition reaction to form an alkane. This is correct. 36. How many of each type of bond are present in ethanoic acid? CH3, COOH. So here's the displayed formula of ethanoic acid. We have 2 carbon and a carboxyl group. So you can easily decide the type of bond. We are having CH bond, yes. We are having CC bond, yes. We are having C double bond O. We have 1 C double bond O. 1 C double bond O, 1 C bond C, and 3 CH bond. So A must be the right answer in this case. It's easy. 37. Which diagram represents the structure of a protein? Remember, protein is made from amino acids. Made from amino acids. So after joining, they must have amide linkage. Must have amide linkage. If you look at the choices, you can either have A as your correct response or D. B and C is incorrect. Because in both of these, we are having amide linkage. These are amide linkages. Now, next point is it made from amino acid? Amino acid means at one end of a molecule, that's repeating unit, there must be NH, and at the other end, it must be C double bond O. If you look at this, We have NH and CO. So D must be the right answer in this case. A is incorrect. 38. The chromatogram of substance S is shown. Some distances W, X, Y, and Z are labeled on the diagram. How is the RF value of substance S calculated? So this distance traveled by S is Y. So either C is correct or D is correct. A and B is incorrect. And distance traveled by the solvent front. We need to find the solvent front. So it must be X. Y by X. So C must be the right answer in this case. 39. Some information about solid silver chloride and solid sodium chloride is shown. Silver chloride and sodium chloride do not dissolve in kerosene. Silver chloride is insoluble in water, but sodium chloride is soluble in water. The boiling point of silver chloride is 1547 degrees centigrade, and the boiling point of sodium chloride is 1413 degrees centigrade. Which processes are used to separate a mixture of solid silver chloride and solid sodium chloride? You see, sodium chloride is soluble in water, but silver chloride is insoluble in water. So definitely we need to use water in this case. So either B is correct, C is correct, or D is correct, A is incorrect. What you will do in the next step, you simply have to stir in order to get the sodium hydroxide, sodium chloride dissolved completely, and then filter. So C and D is incorrect. B must be the right answer in this case. Last MCQ. Which statement describes how a flame test is done? Tip of a clean wire is dipped into a substance. This is correct. And the wire is placed in a blue Bunsen burner flame. This must be the right statement. For your convenience, I am looking at the other choices also. The tip of a clean wire is dipped into the substance and the wire is placed in yellow Bunsen burner. This is incorrect. We need to have blue flame because yellow color of Bunsen burner, it masks the color of the ions like Na plus. So this must be incorrect. See, a wooden splint is lit, it's placed above a test tube containing a gas being tested. No, this is incorrect. This is not flame test. D, a wooden splint is lit, blown out, and the glowing spirit put into a test tube or the gas being tested. This is incorrect. A must be the right answer in this case. Thanks for watching. Press like and share my videos for more videos. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon.